Welcome to the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. Discover with us and enjoy our holistic resources. Join us weekly on Wednesdays for our live talk show discussing the topics central to maintaining the holistic lifestyle you want. Each week we bring on leaders, product providers, and educators to enlighten and empower your natural journey in wellness. Let us begin.
Welcome to another fabulous Wellness Wednesday here, broadcasting to you live on Airlight Radio, known as the Healing Frequency. This is the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We are here each and every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. We are live. The call-in number is 310-928-7733. Once again, 310-928-7733. Our Facebook page is Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. That's Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. Our website is createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Once again, createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Dr. Rabb, how you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing
well.
Doing all right, Dr. Rabb?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Had my own program this morning. I'm sitting here in the front of the computer.
Yeah, well, my internet is completely off, so I've got to do this blindly from my phone today. So this will be very interesting. You have to be creative and go out.
I know you can do it, Johnathan. You can. If anybody can do it, you can.
That's right. All right, we're going to get into our first guest today. Robin has a lot to share. Robin, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Oh, good. Great, Robin. Share with us your passion and how you got into this. You had a few things that you're going to share with us today.
Well, I became a health and wellness coach for women with fibromyalgia about 5 years ago.
I'm sorry, your recording time has expired. To send this message now, press pound or hang up. To leave a callback number, press 1. To replay your message, press 3. For additional options, press 9.
Okay, I don't know what that is. But go ahead.
To send this message now, press pound or hang up. To leave a callback number, press 1. To replay your message, press 3. For additional options, press 9.
Should I call back?
No, you're fine. Go
Are
ahead.
you still there? Please make your selection. To send this message now, press pound or hang up. To leave a callback number, press 1. To replay your message, press 3. For additional options, press 9. Sorry you're having trouble. Please try again later. Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
Okay, Robin, you still there?
I'm still here. Are you there?
Yeah, go right ahead.
So you wanted me to tell you about how I got into health coaching?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. So I have fibromyalgia myself, and I had been a psychotherapist for 25 years. We moved to Denver, and I was looking for a way to work remotely, and I found health coaching for women with fibromyalgia. I primarily work with women 50 years and older who still have a lot of living to do and are dealing with the difficult symptoms of fibromyalgia, which is a chronic pain syndrome.
And then, how are people working with you in this particular area with their fibromyalgia?
How do they work with me?
Yes.
They typically find me online via a podcast, the Fibromyalgia podcast, hosted by my trainer and mentor, Tammy Stacklehouse. And they do a free breakthrough session with me. And we talk about what their hopes and dreams are, what their struggles and frustrations are. And then they sign up for a 5-month, 15-session package to work with me on all the ways that they can feel better with fibromyalgia. I use a holistic approach, which I call the BEST approach. BEST. We address the body, the emotions, the social support, and transcendent spirituality.
And for your education-wise, to get to the point, what did you have to go through to obtain the knowledge that you have in this particular field?
Well, I have a Doctor of Education degree in counseling psychology, and I was a licensed psychologist and licensed professional counselor for over 25 years. So that's my background. I trained as a health and wellness coach through an organization called Well Coaches, which is a leader in the health coaching field. And I also trained with the Institute for Fibromyalgia Coaching.
Okay, nice. So in your particular field, what do you see that is happening that's changing that can be beneficial for the listeners and for health and wellness?
What's changing is that patients are learning how to become their own best advocate. And the whole health field is becoming more patient-oriented so that patients are educated, patients are empowered to take care of their own health. And I'm also seeing that there's more interest in addressing chronic illnesses like fibromyalgia.
Yeah, it seems to be coming up quite a bit. I'm hearing it more and more often, to be honest with you. So,
are you?
The light is being put on it. So that and mental health right now seems to be running kind of at the high ranks on everybody's radar. So it's pretty interesting.
Yes, it is on everyone's radar.
And then how long does somebody work with you? What's the typical time? 3 months, 6 months?
People start out with 5 months, and then a number of people go on to work with me for a year or more. It just depends on how complicated their situation is and what their goals are. It's very much oriented to their personal goals.
Okay. Hey, Rob, why don't you give out your contact information? Everyone said twice, so people have a chance to write it down. So if they want to contact you, we get you all set. And she's also on our Facebook page, Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show page on Facebook. Her information is there as well. But could you repeat everything twice and say your contact information?
You bet. People can find my website at drrobinpfaff.com. And my name is spelled, it's Dr. D.R. Robin, R-O-B-I-N. Pfaff is spelled P as in Peter, F as in Frank, A as in Apple, F as in Frank, F as in Frank.com.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you for coming on. We're going to get you back on in the future. We're going to move and take our commercial break, and we have another guest that's coming on. I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me, Johnathan. I look forward to coming back.
We'll have you back on. All right. You just tuned in. This is Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We're going to take a commercial break and come back with our second guest for today. We'll be right back.
My name is Michelle. I am the beauty boss of A More Beautiful You with Jafra Cosmetics. What is so wonderful about Jafra is that it is an essential business and fits into everyday needs for everyone in your family. Jafra offers over 500 products within 4 departments, and they are, department number 1 is our skincare department with our 5 exclusive Royal Jelly skincare lines powered by our Royal Jelly RJX technology. Number 2 is our on-trend gorgeous color and makeup line, a must-see. Number 3 is our fragrance from the world's top perfumers. And department number 4 is our body care for the entire family. Just added is our daily advanced hand sanitizers in 2 sizes. I invite you to visit my website to see more of A More Beautiful You with Jafra. My website is www.amorebeautiful-u.com. That is www.amorebeautiful-u.com. Thank you and stay safe and well.
Welcome to the hemp industry, including new product CBD-based discoveries is here. It is a smart, organic personal care option today. Industrial hemp is one of the fastest growing segments of the wellness industry and is quickly emerging as a lucrative business opportunity for many. This emerging industry strives to create products that are designed to revolutionize the way people care for themselves. These products are well formulated to produce the finest quality of dietary supplements on the market, derived from industrial hemp containing proprietary CBD compounds that help support the body's endocannabinoid system. For more information regarding hemp, nano water soluble CBD, CBD pet care, CBD choices for your complete body, and receive your home delivery, visit The Lifestyle Store at www.createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Once again, The Lifestyle Store. It's at www.createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Health is the new wealth.
Hello, it's Dr. Vic. Finding the right supplement for your health can be very challenging. After years of research, I finally found the one supplement that made a difference. Fountain of Life, a Norwegian spruce extract. It's simply a game changer. Just 10 drops a day can make all of the difference. For more information, visit myopulence.com/Dr. Vic under health. That's myopulence.com/DRVIC. Fountain of Life is not a cure for any disease or ailment, but simply nature's powerful plant antioxidant. Stay well, my friends.
Since the 1800s, supplemental delivery methods have essentially stayed the same through capsules and powder. Nothing is wrong with this form, just like nothing was wrong with listening to music on a record player. These products encompass a breakthrough nanotechnology, breaking large particles down to increase the bioavailability and effectiveness of all of its products. Through my travels and journey with health and wellness, I needed to understand the body more. So a friend of mine recommended I understand glutathione. What is glutathione? Glutathione is the body's master antioxidant that impacts nearly every function in your body. It detoxifies your body's cells, and it also recycles itself to increase the effectiveness of other antioxidants, for example, vitamin C, D, etc. Glutathione is one of the most studied molecules in the world with over 165,000 studies on PubMed compared to vitamin C with only 69,000 studies. Would you like to know more? Visit www.createqualityoflife.com. Once again, www.createqualityoflife.com. There you'll find information in regards to glutathione and how it can possibly enhance the quality of your life. Health is the new wealth.
All right, and we're back. This is the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We'll move on with our featured guest today. Kim, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. How about yourself?
All right. Sorry I have to run through this blindly. I didn't realize my internet would be down, but I'm doing the best I can here. So we're gonna.
Technology doesn't always work in our.
All right, so thanks for working with me, everyone. Kim, do you want to talk about your background and how you got into your field?
Sure. Thank you so much. So I was in the fitness industry for a number of years and left that and worked in the corporate world. And while I was there, I started my family, and that was something I actually thought I would never do. I was always afraid of childbirth because of what I thought the repercussions would be from a pelvic health and body perspective. And it was through that process, though, that I recognized that pelvic health is really an underserved part of women's health, and I wanted to bring a voice to that. So I coupled my previous training with fitness. I recertified in pre-postnatal fitness and started taking other courses specific to women's health and pelvic health, and created a niche specific to helping women prevent and overcome pelvic floor challenges like incontinence and organ prolapse and chronic back pain. And these are things that a lot of people think are just a normal part of aging, or it's just part of being a woman, or it's because you've had kids. And we are told from media even that we need to accept pads as just part of our destiny. And so I really want to cancel that and give people the right information to know what they need to do with their bodies, because it's very treatable. It's absolutely something they can overcome, and it's not something that people need to be suffering with. And so I have online programs, and I have an app, and I do online coaching for women through all stages of life specific to the pelvic floor.
So what are some of the misconceptions in your field?
Well, the big one, as I mentioned, is incontinence is where urine comes out of the body when you don't want it to. And a lot of women will joke about it, and they'll call it peasing or sneeze pee, or they say, I can't jump on a trampoline since having kids. And part of the reason it's joked about or laughed about is because people are accepting it. We are fed messages from sometimes our healthcare providers, sometimes from media, that's just how it is, and you just have to put a pad in and carry on. So the big misconception I say is light bladder leakage is not just part of being a woman. And another big misconception is people think they need surgery to fix their issues. And surgery can absolutely play a role for some people, but so much of it can be taken care of without surgery.
Yeah, I would imagine. Boy, I imagine two things. It'd be scary to have that happen to your body, and you really can't control it. So it's easy to accept sometimes and not talk about it and deal with it on your own, rather than try to research and figure out, hey, look, how do I handle this? This isn't normal.
Yeah, exactly. So and sorry, go ahead.
I was wondering if it's a time issue scenario, or is it something that comes with age or after childbearing? I'm trying to figure out when this would occur.
Well, really, it can happen to anybody at any time. Definitely pregnancy and childbirth are huge risk factors, and that is the most common start or kind of realization that people are experiencing challenges. And to the point you made earlier, it's part of the body that has historically been quite taboo, and there's a lot of shame and embarrassment and sometimes trauma associated with it. So there's the messages that it's normal and we have to accept it, and there's also the shame and embarrassment piece. So a lot of people are suffering in silence and thinking that they're alone in this or they're the only ones. And there's people who have never been pregnant or given birth who feel that even more because they feel like it's more common for people in pregnancy. But young athletes, teenagers can experience incontinence and pelvic floor challenges, and people who've never given birth, as I mentioned, can experience it. So it's something that can really influence our mental health as well as the physical symptoms that we're managing. And part of that is because of that shame and isolation and suffering in silence that people experience.
Interesting. I think that the more we talk about something, the better we all can come together and try to have a solution. It's that silence. Like, now, what if this only happening to me? And I was talking about this last week. It's kind of funny. It's like no one really talks about they have a credit problem until somebody says they do. Oh, yeah, me too. It's one of those kind of things.
Yeah. And that's the good thing. That's the good thing with what social media has done. There's some, there's good and bad with social media, but it has definitely increased awareness. And since I started doing this, I remember when Twitter was first on the scene and I had learned about hashtags and I put in hashtag pelvic floor and there was 0 hits. There was nothing. And now it's almost become trendy to talk about pelvic health. And that means that there's going to be a bit of misinformation here and there, but all in all, the conversation is being had. More people are aware, and that means more people are going to their care providers more informed sometimes than their care providers and asking for referrals or asking for help, and also realizing it's not something that they need to suffer with or just accept as something they need to live with for the rest of their life. And really, at the end of the day, the pelvic floor is a group of muscles just like muscles elsewhere in our body, and they need to move, they need to stretch, they need to contract, just like other muscles in our body. And so when we understand and appreciate that, it puts a little bit more control in ourselves as well, that we can use movement and fitness to help overcome these issues.
It's funny. I didn't think about this topic on such a deep level on what you're explaining, which is kind of interesting because I guess most men wouldn't be too privy to it, but it's nice if you really care about like your mate or spouse to be able to at least understand some of what they possibly could be going through.
Yeah, exactly. And that is a huge, I always say pelvic floor physical therapy can save marriages and save relationships, because a lot of time reasons why the one partner, especially if it's a female partner, is pulling away from intimacy, it can be from that fear and shame and embarrassment. It can be from pain even. So a lot of people will experience pain as part of their pelvic floor struggles. And the often male counterparts, or it doesn't even have to be male, but the partner will kind of interpret that pulling away as they don't love me anymore, or they don't find me attractive anymore. And so there's a breakdown there, and the partner has no idea what that person is struggling with. And sometimes that person suffering doesn't necessarily even know completely what they're suffering with. One statistic, a few statistics, close to 40% of women will experience incontinence at some point in their life. One in two, so 50% of women will have some form of organ prolapse. So that's where the bladder, the uterus, or the rectum start to shift out of their optimal anatomical position. And 95.3, I think it is, just over 95% of women with low back pain have some form of pelvic floor dysfunction. And one final stat is, especially as we're approaching menopause, which every single woman and vagina owner is going to go through, is menopause is vaginal dryness. So 80% of women will experience vaginal dryness, and that is something that does not improve with time, nor do the other things.
Those are interesting facts. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. They're kind of alarming when you hear them.
Embarrassment is something I think that a lot of people have to get over when you're in a relationship, But society has us in a situation where we need to hide everything and be this perfect person, or we feel we're going to lose who we're with for them getting somebody better or younger or stronger or something, And I just think that I'd like to see the world change from that, because if you do care about somebody, you should talk with them. And if you got some issues or whatever happens to you, they should know about it. You shouldn't hide that from your partner or your spouse or somebody you're with.
I could not agree more. And I think that, again, referencing social media, we have the side of, it's a highlight reel and everything's perfect, but there's been a kind of a movement over the last couple of years to be more authentic and just real and raw. And there are a lot more people sharing openly about struggles that they've had. And that it can be a dangerous place on social media sometimes. It can bring people into a bit of a dark place, but it can also really lift people out and give them words or ways that they could talk to their partner, or even an understanding for what's happening to themselves, that they can then start to broach that conversation and explain what's happening and open up that dialogue.
I've seen it go the other way too, though, Kim, where, it's all about them and they just, they don't care about anything else. They become the subject or end all be all. Oh, I've seen that one. Oh, terrible.
Yeah.
You have to deal with somebody like that, man. That's beyond narcissism,
Exactly.
That's the character piece right there. So how do people work with you? They find you, and do you have a questionnaire with them? You do an interview? You do things over Skype? How does your business work? And then how long should someone be working with you?
My goal is to not work with people that long. So really, I want to provide people with the tools and the information that allows them to implement it into their life and then not need me anymore. So that's my goal. And sometimes it's a month that I work with somebody. Sometimes it might be 2, but very rarely do I work with anybody longer than 2 weeks to 2 months. That would be the length of time, really. And I have a lot of different ways that people can access the information, because I recognize there's different people have different financial levels, people have different learning preferences, and so I have written books. I have the website that has information. I have pretty much all social media channels, including YouTube videos. And then I also have an app where people can do, the most popular program is a 28-day challenge that I run through my app. And that, again, is, it's basically just a month. And sometimes that's all that people need. And then if people want more, I do have a membership that has ongoing support with nutrition and workout routines and group coaching. So for people who do need that kind of accountability and motivation, because that's a big part of pelvic health, is people are like, oh, I always forget to do it. Or I feel like I'm alone in this, and, I need a community. And so there's those options as well. And then there's also one-on-one. If somebody wants just individual coaching, then I do online coaching with anybody anywhere in the world.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's one thing about that pandemic, that at least you got a chance to learn other skill sets to stay in touch with everybody. That's one good thing that came out of it. And then, how to kind of evaluate your body a little bit yourself and not rely so much on what we call the white coats.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting shift. I think that it was kind of starting to happen before, but that was even my own medical doctor. She closed her practice because she said that the pandemic really highlighted, I already knew this, but the pandemic really highlighted how flawed our system is. Now I'm in Canada, but how flawed the system is here. And she said, I'm going and practicing a completely different version of healthcare, and it will be private. And I think that there's a lot of people who have realized that the medical community is fantastic when you need surgery. It's fantastic if you have an acute infection of some sort or a car accident. They're perfect. But in terms of wellness and overall health, they really aren't our best ally. And there are now people have way more awareness of the fact that there are so many people doing online type education and programs that can help them through whatever it is that's ailing them.
Yeah, there's some really good programs on YouTube, really take a look at some of those things. One doctor I was looking at, he was talking about the lymphatic system. I forgot his name. It'll come to me in a minute. But, man, there's a lot of great information, and it broke everything down. And then Dr. Johnathan did a good job with his emails, and he tells you what type of blood test to take and how it should read and where to order it. I like things like
exactly. That. Yeah, me too.
I feel much better. At least I can do the read. And, for myself, I mentioned on a previous show before, I usually, when my MD orders like a blood test, and I'll go over to my naturopath and say, hey, look at this. What can we add to it? You know what I mean? And I make sure that
I do the same thing.
Comes back, I go back and, then they tell me what their read is, and the MD's read is, okay, we don't have to put you on something, or we got to put you on something. And then the naturopath reads completely different numbers. It's really weird.
Yeah, and the other thing, I will use the medical system to get whatever I can for free. So in Canada, we have, quote unquote, free healthcare, and I will a certain tests like blood work will be covered.
That's a quote the note over here.
Yeah. So I will use that to get what I can, but then I often will have to pay privately to actually get what I want. And then I don't rely on my medical doctor to help me navigate the results. I use my naturopath or a functional medicine practitioner because that's a more accurate representation of health as opposed to kind of an average that includes the sick population.
Yeah, I went to a heart doctor one time and it was very disheartening. And the doctor was talking and the doctor just said, oh, yeah, if you ever hear this, then you have X amount of years to live. And I go, why would you tell somebody that? You have no idea how long someone's going to live.
Yeah.
But they all had a qualified number to it. You know what I mean? And I thought that was really strange. You know what I mean? And then the doctor went on further to tell me that all the natural stuff would never work. It doesn't work. And I said, wow,
Yeah, and that happens in pelvic health too. So there are people who have incontinence or have organ prolapse, and they often, so there's a statistic of waiting 6.5 to 7 years, and they finally go to their doctor, and the doctors will say, refer them to a surgeon. And again, surgery, I'm not discounting that, can play a role, but they if they referred to people like myself and to pelvic floor physical therapists and empowered people, but sometimes the physicians don't believe in, and they say, no, you're never going to be able to fix and overcome that. You need to have surgery. And for so many people, that the complete opposite is true.
Jesus. You know, Kim, I was watching The Matrix the other day, right? And so this is when they caught Neo for the first time, right? He goes, Mr. Anderson, you seem to have two lives. One of them has a future. You know, I thought to myself, wow. But then they didn't listen to the medical side. The guy couldn't talk. He couldn't do anything. They tried to set him up. I thought to myself, man, that Matrix is really interesting, you know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know, sometimes I equate some of these scenes in movies to real life because, you know, it's very relevant, you know.
Yeah.
It's Dr. Rabb, any questions at this point, sir?
No, this is very interesting because, you know, what I do here is strictly holistic, and there are people, a lot of people come in here still, and those who have been before, they know the outcomes, and they come in to seek something else because maybe they have something else going on. But then you have those who call because somebody told them about me, over the years, and it's weird that some of the things they come at you with, they, well, I don't like that, and I don't like this, and I said, really, sometimes I said to one person today, I said, it doesn't sound too much like you like yourself, so I'm not the person, you know. I'm here to work with people who want help, not somebody who just, looking for, I don't know what he was really looking for, but he wasn't looking for detoxifying his body, cleaning it up and bringing it back to life. That's, well, just, what about that over there? Or what about this? I said, here we really focus on programs instead of just one product. But,
yeah,
some will and some won't. Next.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to put the work in.
Yeah, amen.
A lot of times people like to go in and go through the process so they feel good about themselves. Well, I went in, and I talked to them, but they didn't go in full-heartedly. They came in haphazardly, just to say that they did whatever it was, and they really cheated themselves on that visit, They could have got a lot more out of it. But, sometimes we do that to ourselves, for some reason, uncertainty and whatnot. But as you get older, you don't have time for that. That very visit right there could change everything in your life. And I think people are starting to realize that now more and more.
And, Johnathan, yesterday, let me break you in, but this, I want to share this a little bit. Yesterday, there was a gentleman called on the phone. I think first the wife called. And she was talking about different things, some of this wrong with him, whatever. And he said, let me on the phone. So he got on the phone and he started telling me about, he said, Dr. Rabb, I've been to you before. He said, and I'm coming to you again. He said, this is my wife, but I'm not listening to her. Cause she was trying to push him into the medical doctor. And he said, no. He said, I went through you years ago and everything happened right then. He said, I believe in you. I'll be there to see you again. So, some are like that and others, they're just looking for, I don't know what they're looking for. They're looking for something miracle so that, they don't have any work to do.
Right.
Yeah. They try to outsmart the naturopaths so they can weasel and still do what they can a little bit and try to get a little bit of help, but still keep up the bad habits. I know I was a good manipulator like that for a long time until something really serious happened. I was a good manipulator.
Well, that's such an important point is in what I've recognized in my business. When I first started, it was working primarily with pregnant women, and I really wanted to help people understand how to prevent pelvic floor challenges and what they could do to prepare for birth and recover. And the biggest clients were people who already had a problem. So people were more motivated to fix a problem that exists than they are to prevent it. from happening in the first place. And with the other comment on that too is there's all sorts of vaginal rejuvenation and pelvic floor technologies, and one of which they call the Kegel chair or the Kegel throne. And you sit on this fully clothed. It's a chair. It looks like a chair, and you sit on it, and it basically sends impulses into your pelvic floor, and it does between 11 and 13,000 Kegels for you in a 20-minute session. And that sounds attractive. People are like, great, I don't need to do Kegels. I can just sit here and I can scroll through social media and read my book or whatever. And I had somebody ask me that yesterday in social media, do you believe in it's called the Emsella chair? And I said, if somebody can't activate their own muscles, if they have maybe a spinal cord injury or they have nerve damage, then I think it can play a role. And I'm grateful for that technology. But if you can use those muscles, you should be doing the work. And it's a very expensive outsource that doesn't last for your life. So that's going to be something you're going to be dropping $3,000 every 6 months to a year. Do them yourself. It's free.
Yeah, but some people, they feel good about saying that $3,000. They can talk about it and everything. It's all kinds of ideologies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's something for everybody, I guess.
Yeah, some of these wealthy women, they really get excited about not having to do the work and have some type of result, you know what I mean? So I just lay in this chair and it pumps my stomach, 50,000 times, and I didn't have to do it, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I'm serious, but it's different when you have to go through something. You respect it more, you know?
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
People. All right, well, if you're just tuning in, this is the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We're going to take a break and come back with Kim. We're having a great, relaxing conversation, and I guess we'll get into some of those more pointed questions since we're dealing with that special area of the women's body everybody wants to know about. We'll be right back.
Hey there, Detox Jenny here. Is your digestion poor, painful, or just plain stuck? If so, please consider doing a short 3 to 10 day juice cleanse with my company, Earthly Juices. You can visit us at bringmejuice.com. You will be surprised what a difference a short cleanse can make within your body and your overall well-being. Our organic farm-to-table juice cleanses are handcrafted to exclude your allergies and geared towards solving your health issues. Call 310-404-6804 and mention this show and receive a free quart of juice with your first order. You can also find us at www.bringmejuice.com, or you could write us your detox questions at earthlyjuices@gmail.com. We can't wait to bring that juice to your doorstep.
I tell myself again and again, I'm happy about my favorite juice from Jen. I tell myself again and again, well, Earthly Juices, they make the best juice cleanse.
Hi, this is Dr. Nathan Rabb Jr., host of The Natural Way, which you can hear live on InnerlightRadio.com every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On The Natural Way, you will learn about alternative strategies to common medical practices to overcome some of the most common physical and mental maladies in the world today. The program is a live call-in show, so you can engage me by calling 310-928-7733 with your health-related questions. For private consultations, please call my office. That's at 310-419-4372. You can also reach me on the web at Dr. Dr. Nathan, Nathan, Rabb, Rabb.com. Be sure to tune in to The Natural Way every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific and 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, live on InnerlightRadio.com. The Healing Frequency. I'm Dr. Nathan Rabb. We see you on the air. Peace.
Historically, our ancestors lived 100% organic and natural, simply grazing off the green earth with fresh fruits and vegetables and blue oceans filled with seafood. Allowing your mind, body, and soul to be naturally healthy is how we were meant to live during this journey of our lives. We invite you to visit The Lifestyle Store. Once again, The Lifestyle Store, for all of your family's health and wellness needs. Simply click on The Lifestyle Store at www.createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Once again, www.createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Keep this in mind. Health is the new wealth.
That's right. You heard it right here. Health is the new wealth. Okay. Kim, more question time. I've never really asked this question before, but, I'd like to see somebody come out with a course that is about how to take care of each other's health when you're in a relationship or a marriage. I think there should be a course. So my question to you is, all right, so you want to be a good husband. What kind of things should you be looking out for, and how often should you be taking your woman to the doctor regarding what and how frequent and what type of things that you should be on the lookout for? Because you got the menopause, but then you got menopause. I keep hearing these new terms coming out. And now men are getting breast cancer.
Yes, I know it's crazy, and I think it's a really important and really good question to ask. And I guess I'm actually shocked at how many women I meet that don't understand their own menstrual cycle or don't understand intimacy and pregnancy and childbirth specifically to the pelvic floor. And even though they've given birth 2 or 3 times and they've had they've had intercourse with a male partner. And so I think from a male perspective for them I think it's important to understand the menstrual cycle and understand the hormonal fluctuations that women go through every single month during that time, to what would be considered a quote unquote normal period, normal cycle, and then also what may not be normal. And there's a lot more people and there's a lot more awareness now being brought to the kind of the forefront with regards to endometriosis, which is a chronic health condition that can contribute to severe pelvic pain and very heavy bleeding. It can really be debilitating for so many people. So understanding the nuances of what would not be considered normal. So heavy bleeding, severe menstrual cramps, people being housebound, can't get out of bed, extreme fatigue, that type of thing. So if they see that happening, they know that's not normal and then can speak to their partner and also ask other people for help. So that's one piece. The conversation around families, I think a lot of people, sometimes during dating will have an understanding or awareness that the other person wants to start a family. And if that is something that is in the conversation, then talking about the implications of that specific to the female body. So there's a lot of change that happens to the female body. And, you may hear people joke after of mummy tummy or, I can't lose the baby weight or, that I can't jump on a trampoline. So just understanding the changes that happen, why they're happening, the adaptations are happening for a reason, why they're happening, how the person, the pregnant person, but also the partner can support that person through the pregnancy. And then, and recovery is such a huge piece that's overlooked by so many, especially in the North American culture. So recognizing the need of that woman, that person to rest and recover, and that it doesn't just take a few days. It can take months, even up to a year to fully recover from childbirth.
Wow.
And then an appreciation of then throughout our lives after that, we still go through those hormonal fluctuations. We are now potentially raising children, or we are working full time, or we're dealing with aging parents, or maybe all of those at the same time. Plus we're now entering perimenopause and menopause. And this is something, again, that the word perimenopause has only been around for, I think, 20-ish something years. I forget when it actually came. I didn't even know about it till about maybe 5 or 10 years ago. And I'm a woman. And so the awareness piece from our male counterparts is definitely lacking if I had to kind of navigate this on my own and wasn't even aware of some of the terminology. So knowing that if they have a female partner who will be going through these fluctuations and who will 100% go through menopause and what that means, that's a whole other life transition that can really knock people's socks off and has pelvic health implications as well.
Oh, that's interesting. Is there any age or complications or things start for a person?
Can you repeat that? Is there any age where there's complications? Is that what the question was?
Yeah, like any age, like at this particular age, you should maybe be aware, you know what I mean? Certain situations that sometimes it could be close in age relation to when something may occur.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right, yes. So there is no magic age. The magic age of menopause, the average age it's not a magic age. That average age of menopause is 51. So I would say that is a number that we should all have in our mind and know that 6 to 10 years prior to menopause being one day, menopause is the anniversary of your last menstrual period. So after you've gone 12 consecutive months with no period, you have officially reached your menopause, and the next day you're post-menopause, and you're post-menopause for the rest of your life. So understanding that milestone is important, and that the 6 to 10 years prior to that, there will be a whole bunch of changes that are happening in your body, and you might think you're going crazy, and you might think there's something wrong with you. And there are lots of things that you can do to support yourself through that process with food and potentially hormones and exercise and rest. And then obviously pregnancy. So that age is changing, but somewhere between mid-20s to mid-30s is an average zone where people are becoming pregnant. And that's a huge risk factor for pelvic health struggles. But I argue that the seed should be planted in grade school when we're teaching children about menstrual health and when we're teaching children about sexual health and body education. If we could introduce the concept of the pelvic floor, and yes, men also have a pelvic floor. Women have more challenges because they bear children, because they go through hormonal fluctuations, because of the shape of their pelvis. But if we introduce the concept that this is a really integral part, such an important part of the body, and this is how we care for it, and these are the professionals we see once we become sexually active, and just like we see the dentist once a year for our teeth, we should be seeing a pelvic floor physical therapist once a year for our pelvic floor. If we did that, if we introduced it early and kind of painted it as a lifestyle that we manage, I think it would drastically, for the better, change and improve the quality of life for so many people who, again, just go through so much suffering because they think that that's just the way that it is.
That's interesting. There's did you write a book on this?
I did. It's called Your Pelvic Floor.
Okay, I thought I saw that. That's interesting. I don't think this is taught enough, though. This needs a lot more light on it, Kim. A lot more.
Yes, I totally agree. And it's happening. I mean, when I first started, again, I started 18 years ago, kind of as a side thing and full time in 2009. So it's been a significant amount of time, and really from that time until now, there's been a huge increase in people talking about it. So the word is definitely getting out there more. This year I was presenting at a fitness conference in Canada called CanFit Pro, and it was the first time in the 10 years that I've been presenting there that there were men at all of the sessions, and there are men signing up for my certification course because they recognize that they train women, and they're realizing that this is, a lot of times the main population they train is women, and there's reasons why they stop doing certain exercises. There's reasons why they go to the bathroom before every session. And when they know that, they can alter their training in ways that actually helps those women overcome those challenges.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. I'd like to take this moment here, Tim, for you to give out all your contact information. Please repeat everything twice for the audience so they have a chance to write it down.
Sure. Thank you very much. My website is vaginacoach.com. And so I think that, most people hear that once and they never forget it because they're just thinking, did she just say vagina coach? But vaginacoach.com. And all of it, basically any social media platform, if you put Vagina Coach into the search on YouTube or Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you will find me there. So it's at Vagina Coach. And if you want to send me a direct email, kim@vaginacoach.com is my email. And the book that I wrote, it launched March 2020, actually. No, yes, March 2020 it was released. And you can find that on Amazon, and it's called Your Pelvic Floor.
Your pelvic floor. Okay. All right. Dr. Rabb, your closing thoughts.
Very, very interesting.
Thank you.
I used to hear that on TV. I forget who it was, but it's very, very interesting. But yeah, it's very much, you put a lot of good stuff out there, and you just keep up the good work because people need that. They need things more so than a lot of just running in and up in a hospital somewhere, a doctor somewhere, and they start whittling away at you and all that. That's not the way to help people. It's to really
right. Thank you.
Get them, get to a point where, you really can do something to help them without doing something wrong to them.
Right. Agree.
Yeah, when you hear things like this, it's really something to evaluate. It's not like hearing something, like on the commercial here that like, oh, you might have restless leg syndrome. You know what I mean? There's some of these things, TV, they're trying to get you to purchase something for. All of a sudden, they give you all these symptoms and trying to find one that'll match up with you so you can buy the product, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But, what you have here is, something. I think they should be teaching this in school so that women understand, the young girls understand their bodies a little better,
Amen.
Because I totally agree. If I would have known, somebody would have sat me down and told me, hey, look, don't drink so much. This can happen to you, or don't do this. We don't have enough of that. It's more or less fly by the seat of your pants, have a problem, and then deal with it, and then try to survive type of scenario. Right. So I tell the young people, I said, if you don't ever try anything, then you never have to get over it. So just don't try it.
Exactly.
Exactly. Like,
couldn't agree more.
Then it's like, okay, do that again. Make sure I didn't like it. You know what I mean? It becomes to be that type of scenario. So, I want to thank you for everything, Kim, and send me that PM over there with that link so I can go to your page and I can put that on there so it's all there for everybody. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll be back in touch with you for sure. All right.
Yes, thank you. I really appreciate you having me.
It's a pleasure. Sorry about this way I'm doing the show. Normally I'm on Skype. It's different, but, I didn't want to cancel the show at the last minute because of the internet. So I just find a way to keep going. So I'll let everybody have a chance to work with. Hopefully it worked out. I'm flying blindly. I can't see times or anything, so
it's all good.
Hopefully everything's all good. So I want to thank you for coming out, Dr. Rabb. As usual, it's all good. Dr. Brookh will be back next week with us. She had some stuff this week she had to do. Next week, we're going to be talking about cryotherapy, which is going to be very interesting. I have an expert on this, and they're in Dubai and stuff in L.A., and I want to know what all this freezing up is about. You know what I mean? What the hell goes on with that? I mean, I really want to know. We're going to dig into that one, man, big time next week. Because I just don't see how you can freeze my ass off and then heal me. I don't know. But we're gonna figure it out, I guess the closest thing to is people taking ice bucket baths for their health or whatever. So must be something all that cold. I have no idea, but we're going to get into it. If you're just tuning in, we're tuning out. This is the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. Thanks for being with us this week. Kim, you have a great week out there. We'll see you, folks.
You too. Thank you.
Take care.
Peace and love.
Bye-bye.
Peace and love.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We are a globally hosted show dedicated to sharing holistic lifestyle events, practitioners, products and services, and useful information. Visit our website, createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Once again, createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Of course, our Facebook page is Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We will see you next week.
Namaste.